Good morning. Welcome to Energy Works. Today we're talking about triggers. What are yours? So, interestingly, I have this lovely necklace that says blessed, but I had terrible trouble accepting this necklace because I didn't feel blessed. So, which is silly, really, because I am very blessed. I have, 7 amazing children. I have 4 grandchildren, another one cooking. I have a nice home. I have a good husband. I am blessed, but it really triggered like I wasn't getting what I wanted, so therefore I wasn't blessed. So it's when we have triggers, this is like the opportunity to shift stuff in our energy field that we realize or may not realize is where the energy is stuck. So this was from a site called adventuringwithposeidon.com, and she said, your triggers are a message from your spirit showing you where you're holding on to an internal wound that is asking to be healed. Your triggers are a sign for what patterns you carry that no longer support you. So it's interesting, I think, that we can be triggered by different situations and, feel a little bit out of control when these triggers happen. So I don't know, what are your triggers? What do you feel are the things that set you off? Are there certain people that set you off? Are there certain situations that set you off? Are there certain smells that set you off, or things that you look at, or fabrics, or things that you feel? They're all things that have memories within them that can set us off. Oh, Beatrix, thank you. She said lately parasites. Okay. So you're talking about parasites within or parasitic people? So let's go throat chakra. Good morning, Elizabeth. All right, so we're talking about the things that trigger us. As I said, the smells, people, sounds. Beatrix has mentioned parasites, which of course come down to our boundaries. So it's like people that violate our boundaries, or Elizabeth Jones. Thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning. She says anger. Yes. So is this your anger or other people's anger? All right. Using busyness as a way of avoiding the truth. So I know I can do that one myself, keep myself too busy to think and to really feel what's important to me and actually address my feelings. So I don't know if you fall in that hole too. All right. Elizabeth says, okay, other people's anger. Yeah, because it's like a weapon, isn't it? It's like they're attacking you. Sometimes it's verbally, sometimes it's energetically. You can feel that they, want to latch onto your energy. So it's like having the strength to be able to resist that. Now, there's an oil that comes up called bergamot or bergamot. So we're just going to talk a little bit about that to help us. So bergamot is about self-acceptance. And sometimes that's a hard thing to accept ourselves, faults and all, weaknesses and all. It can be very hard. All right, bergamot is wonderful for those who feel down and hopeless. It awakens the soul to hope and offers courage to share the inner self, reigniting optimism and confidence in the self. It imparts true self-acceptance. Bergamo teaches individuals to let go of judgment by learning to love themselves unconditionally. Yeah, that's the hard job, isn't it? All right, so Elizabeth Tricasi says people complaining. Yeah. And some people are never happy, isn't it? So they want to blame other people or complain about things, but maybe not do something about it. So you might use your bergamot to help yourself become more optimistic. I know for myself, um, is this tendency to look at a situation or a person or whatever and be critical. And then I'm thinking, why are you being critical? You don't need to be critical. This person or this situation, that's their life, it's their, choice to do what they want to do. So it's like um, allowing other people to do what they do. But we, of course, if we've grown up in a family that's a little volatile, when people complain, we're under attack. So it's like we feel like we have to defend ourselves. All right. Love opens the door for me to feel whole and complete. I guess just as the triggers are unhealed wounds within us, we can see this in other people too, and the way that they react. So it's like them telling you loud and clear that they're not okay and that there's stuff stuck in them from their childhood. I acknowledge my unique set of superpowers. So, what are your unique set of superpowers? What is it that you can do that others might find difficult? And are you recognizing that that is a superpower for you, even though other people may not recognize it? Right, age 6 is connected to not being able to recognize your superpowers. Age 26, age 43, I'm creating resolution in my communicating with others. So I went to a parenting course, this was years ago, but one of the things that they taught was something called reflective listening. And it was like when someone says something to you, it's kind of reflecting back to them what they've said. So it's like, oh, do you mean this or do you mean that? And they'll either say, yeah, 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 that's what I mean. Or they'll say, no, I mean this, this, and this. So it's like as you talk to people, you can acknowledge, that you seem angry today or you're a little upset. And, why are you upset? You may not want to do this. It's totally up to you. But as you reflect to people what they're saying, often it helps them work through what's going on currently in their lives. All right, I allow others to experience their own emotions. And often we can get worried or disturbed that other people might feel sad or angry or not okay. But it's okay to express how you feel, and it's okay to work through the emotions and to work through the triggers. I allow others their opinions and judgments. Doesn't mean their judgments are right, it's just how they see it at that point. I release to the light all energy or entities that do not belong to my energy system. And that can include parasites that we're talking about, Beatrix. I make intelligent choices found in my highest good, or my highest truth. I'm finding ways where everyone wins. Making choices and decisions gets easier every day. I'm experiencing more balance in my life. All right, we're going to go into the brow chakra now. All right, I'm aware in every moment. So I guess that awareness can go with the triggers too, isn't it? We can be aware of situations that trigger us. And I know, we talk about when you point at someone, you can point a finger at them, but there's three fingers pointing back at you. So it's like often we're seeing things in the other person that we have and we dislike intensely to see it in other people, want to kill it. So it's like understanding how the triggers are the opportunity to work through stuff for us. All right, I'm open to new ideas, experiences, and people to enhance my happiness and knowledge. And I guess that means being open to new triggers as well, isn't it? And again, it's the opportunity to change things. All right, I'm balancing out my time issues. So sometimes we can be triggered uh, because we're rushed or we've left ourselves not enough time to accomplish the things that we wanted to do. So when we have these time issues, we can have less patience and tolerance of others and even ourselves. I create healthy boundaries. So we talk about boundaries, you think about a castle with a drawbridge and a moat. And when the enemy's coming, it's like, quick, put the drawbridge up. But sometimes with family and friends, it's like, oh, drawbridge up, drawbridge down, we don't really know. We put the drawbridge down, they come in, they trash the castle and they leave. And not only that, viruses, parasites, fungal infections, and bacteria all can come in, and even entities. So it's like it comes back down to our boundaries and to know who trashes the castle and to not let them in. So we can throw a package over the rampart, or we can agree to meet them somewhere neutral with team so that we have protection and very limited time and circumstances. But if you don't feel that that's doable for you, then maybe the care package, or maybe sometimes you just have to say no, sorry, drawbridge is up. That's it. Good morning, Susanna. All right, now we're going to go in the crown chakra. All right, I'm worthy of divine love and connection. And you are, no matter what you've done or haven't done, you are always worthy. It's like the Savior never stops reaching out his hands to draw you closer or to love you or to help you, but you have to ask. He won't force himself upon you. I feel whole regardless of circumstances. I'm not measured by possessions or connections. I work by trusting my intuition. And sometimes that can be very interesting. Often we'll be have this feeling to do something or say something, and we might not get the desired result. But if we've triggered something in the other person, perhaps that is the desired result, because there's something that they need to work through and something that we need to work through. So being able to see that if we're inspired to do something, we need to do it. And it's easy to doubt yourself. It's very easy, because then you think, oh, this wasn't how I thought it should go. And I was doing the best I could. It's kind of like allowing it to be what it's supposed to be. All right, my heart is open and flowing. I feel alive and excited about my life. All right, feeling imbalanced in my right and left hemispheres. So if I ask what's impeding that balance between the hemispheres of your brain, something that happened when you were 6. So where were you? What were you doing? What pops in your head? There's some stuck emotions in there. Not being able to control yourself. And let's say, why do I so easily work through my triggers? So this has got a generational component to it. Dad's side, dad's mum, and the women on that side of the family. Like 48 generations of women. So you have a huge team that is helping you work through these difficulties. All right, so why am I so great at releasing my triggers? Why am I so great at working through my triggers, addressing them, forgiving myself that I have triggers? Good. All right. I accept my body signals in perfect harmony and rhythm. I'm integrating the higher aspects of myself. I have the ability to shift thinking patterns, which is very powerful affirmation, isn't it? When we're being stuck with a trigger, like to actually feel that we can shift these things and we can see it differently. I'm thriving, fueled by positive energy. Again, I wouldn't say that I was there yet, but that idea of when the triggers come up that we can be a little excited to think, yeah, this is the next level of growth for me. Sometimes we're just more like, this is scary. I don't think I can do it. But if we can sort of change our mentality to think, yeah, I can work through this. Might be a bit of a job and it might, there might be a lot of generational baggage here and I'll be helped. All right, something in our mind. Okay. All right, so having faith. All right. All right, we'll say fear is blind and limits us to a particular set of options. Faith, on the other hand, presents us with infinite possibilities. So sometimes we get very stuck, and I can include myself here, that, we can only see things a certain way, and we're very disappointed that it didn't go the way we think it should go. I have faith in my decisions. My faith can move mountains. Sometimes it feels like the problems in our life are like massive mountains, doesn't it? And we feel like we don't have a hope of moving these mountains, but it's possible. And you have to look back at the things that you've already changed in your life, and you did that. I have faith in things unseen and the confidence and assurance that life is joyous. So it can be joyous if we allow it, isn't it? And it depends on what we're looking at. Are we looking at the bad things, or are we looking at the things that bring us joy? I have faith in a divine plan and let go of the need to be in control. And sometimes, other people around us can be control freaks, and it can be hard to watch them trying to control us in other situations. But, sometimes we can see through that this is the trigger from their childhood or their experiences in life where they feel that they had no control. All right, this one brings up age 8. So where were you? What were you doing when you were 8? What pops in your head? All right, going into the aura now. All right, the third layer of the aura, which is about the mental body, so our thoughts and our ideas. So leaking energy from this layer of our aura. Females from the past. All right, this goes back to this age 8 again. So who pops in your head from age 8? Was there someone mean to you at school, or next door neighbour, or a family member? Right, so the feeling of resentment stuck in there from when you were 8. So what were you resentful of? Okay, Susanna says mum was pregnant. That changes everything, doesn't it? Mum's not as active and able to be involved, and she's thinking about the next kid, and you kind of have to pull your head in and behave. It's interesting too. Some people have this feeling like, wasn't I a good enough kid that you have to have another one? Didn't I do a good job? So it's like we can doubt our ability to satisfy as a child. We can also not feel safe with our siblings sometimes. Some siblings are a little bit more aggressive than others. Yeah, goes Susanna. All right, so it makes sense that you're leaking energy from that time when your mum was pregnant, isn't it? Because then the thoughts and ideas are that we're not safe, or things are not okay, or they're going to change. All right, something from the sixth layer of the aura, chronic collapse of that layer, which is about emotions and spiritual communion. Feeling neglected is what comes up. Susanna says, I feel it in my stomach area. Right. All right, so let's go into the solar plexus chakra. All right, so this is about our will. I will something into action. So taking action is stuck, and stomach is connected here. Thinking that change is unsafe. And it's interesting that, like, I don't know, it makes me think about, I always tried to be a 15-minute chiropractor. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to save myself. I was always like 2 hours late. So it took me a long time to accept that that wasn't the way for me to do it. And I fought against it and fought against it, but it wasn't right for me. So, this is this feeling that, it's going to be unsafe for me to do it differently. So disorders of the pancreas is coming up as well. So hypoglycemia is when, if you haven't eaten for a while, you start to get a bit shaky or headachy, or you don't feel okay. So it's like your blood is not good at monitoring your sugar levels. So it's like when we eat food, the food should break down the carbohydrates into glucose, which runs our brain and runs our muscles. So if we, are eating foods that break down slowly into carbohydrates, and also having protein with our meals so that we've got something to run on if we run out of carbohydrates, helps us to kind of keep our blood sugar a bit more stable. So hypoglycemia, I'm just going to see if they have something on that. Yes. All right, interesting. Feeling a lack of joy in life is under hypoglycemia. This is in feelings buried alive, never die. Right. So what does bring you joy? Sometimes it's a almost like a strange question to ask yourself because it's like you're so used to just working, getting stuff done, believing you have to do things a certain way that we forget to have joy. So Ellie says, I have problems regulating my sugar levels. Yeah, it can be hard, can't it? So if you think about the glycemic index is how fast something breaks down into sugar. So if you think of a racing car versus a tractor. So racing car, you go really fast, but you run out of fuel quickly. So if you eat foods that are high glycemic, that's kind of what happens. Unless you're burning it off, you store it as fat, and your blood sugar can hit a low. If you eat low glycemic food, it sort of breaks down more slowly, and so your sugar levels can be a little bit more steady. All right, so if we ask for you particularly, Ellie, there's some feelings affecting your blood sugar levels. Right, the feeling of not being able to control yourself. And sometimes when we have these feelings that are triggering to us, this can trigger us to fall into our addictions. Now, for me, the sugar demon's been a very powerful demon that I've had to battle most of my life. So this is true for a lot of people. For some people, it's alcohol or sex or gambling or whatever your addiction is. We all have them. But in the end, it comes down to what happened to us and what happened inside of us, according to, um, I think of his name now. Um, anyway, Hungarian psychologist, and Gabor Mate, he talks about, what happened inside of us as a result of what happened. All right, so age 7 for you, Ellie. So I don't know where you were, what you were doing when you were 7, but see what pops up in your head and see, you know, what happened to you that feels wounded, because this is probably the wound that we're trying to heal today. All right, so then we go back into our throat chakra. I no longer fear rejection when I speak honestly. So often we want to eat our feelings down when they're very uncomfortable. Like you might be perfectly fine, someone speaks to you that's a trigger, and then we want to eat. Or sometimes our family shut us up with food. Here, manja, manja. Uh, so Ellie says, I was finding school very hard at 7. Right. So the feeling was that you weren't acceptable. There's some other stuck emotions from then too. So feeling that you were a failure. And yet each of our mistakes or the things that we struggle with become the stepping stone to our success, don't they? If we allow them. It's like our weaknesses are there for us to be humble and teachable, and then God will help us to make it to be a success. All right, what did that 7-year-old need? What did she need? And only you can give it to her. No one else understood. The other feeling that was from 7 is the lack of control. Sometimes we have situations either in our family or at school or with our health that we can't control, and we can feel very frightened that we have no control. Going into the 8th chakra now, so that's like joining to the earth, like literally being part of the earth. All right, my actions impact other living things. I'm grateful for every meal. So I guess when we go into fight or flight, which would have happened to you when you were 7, uh, our body releases stored sugar to, it's like if a lion jumped out in front of us, we're going to have our sword ready to go and fight the lion. And we also, if the sword doesn't work, we're going to be on our tiptoes, ready to do a runner. So when you're at school and you're feeling this fight or flight, that you cannot learn. It's not possible to learn. You can only learn when you're in the faith mode, not the fear mode. So whenever you feel triggered and feel like you're going to be attacked, it's really hard to learn. So it's like having understanding now for yourself that you were in a situation where you didn't feel safe and comfortable. Forgiving the teacher that you didn't feel safe and comfortable, that she didn't know how to help you get past your fears. All right, so let's say then, why do I so easily regulate my sugar levels? So this has got a generational pattern attached to it from your mom and her mom and the men down that side of the family. 73 generations of men. All right, so these men also felt that feeling of lack of control. So it's not only your reaction to the feeling, it's like hereditary reactions to this feeling of not being in control. And school is definitely one of those places where you have no control. And there's the fear of being ridiculed, you know, of being put up the front of the class and not knowing what to do or to say and to be terrified. So we're just asking if we can release trauma from that time out of your body. All right, why am I so great at regulating my sugar levels? Is there anything else preventing me from regulating my sugar levels? Something caught underneath. Something from your mum's dad this time. So mum's dad, but the women. 93 generations of women. Okay, so let me know how that goes. It's interesting that the emotions that are attached, both from our own experiences, but also the hereditary experiences of our family, can get stuck in our body and stuck in our organs or our tissues or our mind. All right, now into the ninth chakra. So this is above the crown chakra. So it's sort of up higher here, probably like 15 centimeters above the crown chakra or 6 inches. So the emotion is being purposeful and receptive. All right, so this is being affected by what we view through media that leaves imprints of a negative nature, images and feelings of suffering. So we have to be really careful what we watch, what we hear, what we experience. And last week's talk was about our ear being a womb. So it's like the things that we hear grow things. So it's like we have to be very strongly filtering everything that we watch or listen to. All right, so the oil called marjoram comes up. So marjoram's about connection. Okay. All right, marjoram teaches. Oh, thank you, Ellie. She said, thanks, Tanya. Resonate very much. All right. Marjorie teaches that trust is the basis for all relationships. And I guess that includes the relationship we have with ourselves. Elizabeth Tricassi says, one of my favorite oils. Yes. It assists individuals in increasing their warmth and trust in social situations. Marjoram softens the heart and heals past wounds. So it could be very helpful here to heal this wound from childhood. It kindles the fire of trust in relationships so that one may fully blossom. When individuals feel safe and loved, they express their authenticity more freely. Marjoram restores trust and openness so that true bonds of love may be formed in friendships and relationships. And so if we think back to you, Ellie, with your childhood at 7, you didn't feel that you could be you, that how you were wasn't acceptable. And that's a very stressful feeling. All right, we might use Kim's book here. Kim Redmond Futrell wrote a book of essential oil affirmations, and they're so beautiful. All right, I am a really good friend, solid, calm, steady, organized, strong, and straightforward. And I'm sure you are, because of your experiences that you didn't feel safe or comfortable. You don't want anyone to feel like you do. So these awful experiences that we have make us beautiful people, make us strong, loving people. I forgive the harsh life experiences that have contributed to my previously untrusting nature. I have a deep affinity for animals and enjoy caring for them. I feel comfortable letting the right people get close to me. I feel safe and loved. I express my authentic self freely. I have no fear of rejection. I am approachable and lovable. And that kind of makes sense with this trigger business, isn't it? We can be triggered by other people's bad behavior, but if we're okay within ourselves, we can observe their behavior and understand that this is their trigger. And, sometimes we can point people in a direction, suggest to them to go somewhere or read something or to listen to a particular piece of music to help free them from this trap from the past. I have an awareness of my own needs, desires, and purpose. I have a sound and rejuvenating sleep and awake refreshed and energetic. And I think that's really important at night. Our brain kind of sorts all our experiences that we have and puts them in the right letterbox. And so, making sure that you're getting enough sleep, allowing your body to do that process that it does. Right, 10th chakra. So this is like 2.5 to 3 meters above the crown chakra. So another oil comes up, Douglas fir. So Douglas fir is one of the oils that is about generational healing. So it's about generational wisdom. So this is from Essential Emotions, which is what I've quoted today. So additionally, Douglas fir teaches individuals to learn from and value others' experiences, especially one's family and ancestors. It encourages respect for one's elders and ancestral heritage. Douglas fir reminds individuals that valuable wisdom can be obtained by learning from the past, especially from individuals who are older, wiser, and more experienced. So if you feel burdened by family issues, and we all have them, you could use this oil to help generational healing and help us to see the lessons from the past. Some things that they did were crazy, some things were amazing. what our family did and what they survived. And, we've inherited this ability to survive from them. All right. I exist and rejoice. Now, it's sometimes rejoicing is a challenge, but I want you to, try and include something every day, even if it's 5 minutes of, listening to an uplifting piece of music. One I listen to over and over again, it really uplifts me, is one called Gloria, the Christmas song. It's like they did a clip, I think it was over 1,000 people that made this music. So if I'm feeling a bit down or there's negativity surrounding me, I will listen to that on repeat because it's so uplifting. So, finding something that you can do when you get pulled down that helps to bring you joy. It could be a poem that you like, or a quote, or a picture, or, a place in nature that you love, or there's a person that you like to hang out with that helps you feel restored and balanced. All right. I think that's pretty good. So, thank you to those that join in and comment. I cannot tell you how much it makes such a difference to me when I clear the energy. So, I'm grateful to you and thank you for being you, and trust that all these things that we go through are for our highest good and learning, even though at the time we can feel like, no, this is too hard. Anyway, sending you love. Bye.